Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by rising Aussie heavyweight Mr. Justis Huni. How are you doing today, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, mate. Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure. Great to see you back. Just a couple of weeks down the line now, back out in the ring. And third
Yep.
time this year. We always talk about it being important for fighters to be active. Must be great to be back out again.
Yeah. It's been a good year. Next year, hopefully the same thing. 3 or 4 fights under my belt. Um, I'll be happy with. But yeah, it's been a good year so far, and I'm just looking to close it out with another win.
Is it really important that you keep that momentum going, you keep putting in the good
Yeah,
performances so that next year we can see that big step up from yourself?
yeah, that's it. I just want to keep getting more and more fights under my belt. And continuing to gain that experience every time I'm out there.
When you look back at this year, obviously it started off with Kevin Lorena, who's a very
Yeah.
experienced contender, and you fought a couple of times at home, just sort of tick over fights to keep
Yeah.
yourself in the groove. How do you look at this as a year, and what improvements do you think you've made?
I think it's been really good. Look, I went into that Kevin Lorena fight with 9 fights under my that was my ninth fight. So yeah, only 8 fights under my belt up until then, and it was a massive lesson, and I learned a lot from that fight. Took away a lot from that fight, both negative and positive. So yeah, it was. I'm just grateful I'm still going and grateful to be able to, be continuing to get these fights under my belt.
Obviously, every fighter would want to go in the ring and get a first round stoppage or a shutout victory. But is it a case of sometimes you learn more when you've had that adversity, like you had against Lorena, and you don't win
Yeah.
every single round?
Yeah, that's it. Like I feel like I learned way more than all my other fights I've won like pretty easily. But in that Kevin Lorena fight, I feel like I learned the most I've ever learned in one boxing fight. It's there was so much to take away from it, and both negative and positive. So yeah,
I guess from that week as well, you got a real taste of what it's like to be on a big Saudi card. You've fought a couple
yeah,
of times, well, you will have fought a couple of times back home since then. Just talk me through the differences of fighting out in Saudi to what it's like being back home in Oz.
yeah. Look, it was massive. It was a massive card as well, fighting on under Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. Like being around top tier heavyweights like those guys. It was next level, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity and to be a part of that event.
Yeah. When you get the job done in a few weeks' time, obviously you'll take a little bit of time out, I'm sure, for Christmas, but attentions will soon sort of turn to what you want to achieve next year.
Yeah.
What does 2025 look like for you? What do you want to get out there and do?
Well, I think I'll be fighting again very early next year, so I don't think there'll be any Christmas holidays or anything after this fight. But I think it'll all pay off, and I'll get my time to rest and relax um after my next 2 fights, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just got to keep working hard and just making those sacrifices.
Yeah. I think most people would say that the Lorena fight is probably your biggest test to date. Are we
Yeah.
looking at more tests like that in 2025?
Hopefully, look, I want to try and have at least 3 fights again or more. Like if I can get 4 out, then I'll be really happy with that. But I just take it one fight at a time. Hopefully, I don't uh come away with any fights with any injuries, or I don't pick up any injuries in training camps or anything. So yeah, just hopefully I stay healthy and fit and ready to fight.
Yeah. You mentioned about obviously having to train over Christmas there. Is that
Yeah.
another sacrifice, I guess, that you guys sort of in this boxing world have to sacrifice that maybe you don't see your family as much as you would have wanted over that sort of time?
Yeah, look, I've missed out on a lot of events like this, birthdays. So yeah, it's just another day for me, I guess. Um, but you know, the way I look at it is it's all gonna be worth it and everything's gonna pay off in the end.
Yeah. It's a big time in the heavyweight world, or sort of in your area of the world, over in Australia and New Zealand. Dempsey McKean's obviously taken a big fight against
Yeah.
Moses Townell. Just sort of wondering how you look at that, as Dempsey, who's someone who really needs that challenge, and Moses, who's someone who's really going up the rankings, and many people see as a
Yeah.
future world champion.
Yeah, definitely. It's a tough fight. You know, Moses is still so young in his career and you know, Dempsey's you know, it's I think it's maybe make or break for him. You know, so yeah, both big fights for both guys and yeah, look, I'm supporting my fellow Australian. I hope he does well. You know, if he does do well, then you know, hopefully it'll make for a big fight in Australia between himself and I. But yeah, for now, I just wish him all the best and uh, yeah,
Yeah. He's going to be a real big underdog in that one. I think everybody who's gone in
yeah,
against Talma has been. But what do you think he needs to do to sort of overcome the barriers that a Talma will put in the way?
yeah. Look, I can't really talk. I can't really say for him. Uh, but yeah, just to try and keep it long. You know, he's probably got the height and the distance on Moses. So yeah, try and keep it long. Keep it clean because I think Moses does his best work when he's in the inside. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Another one we've got over in New Zealand, of course, Joseph Parker, who's really sort of earned his opportunity and earned the spot that he's got. Lots of people saying that it'll be Daniel Dubois next up for him for that IBF heavyweight strap. I'm sure you would agree in the case that he deserves that, but what does he
yeah.
need to do to get the win over someone like Dubois?
I think Justin Parker has what it takes to um, beat Dubois. He's got the speed, footwork. Um, just as long as he doesn't, you know, stay in there and get caught up in Dubois' fight. I think he's got what it takes to, uh, you know, get those saddles.
I think lots of people will look at the power that Dubois brings,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's it.
it's probably greater than what Joseph Parker
That's
brings. Has
it.
he got to use
Um,
his strengths to get the job done on the night?
look, that's what like for Joseph Parker, you know, Dubois has that one punch knockout power. So, you know, if he uses his feet and stays at his distance, hits and moves, I reckon he would, you know, go well against Daniel Dubois.
You mentioned Anthony Joshua earlier. We obviously shared a card with him earlier this year against Francis Ngannou. We don't really know what the next moves are for him after that loss to Dubois.
Yeah.
If you were sort of in his shoes, what would you be thinking the next moves?
I'm not really sure, eh? You know, he's done a fair bit in his career. He's made a lot of money, and yeah, I don't know. If I was in his shoes, I would. Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just something about fighting, you know. You like when you don't fight for a while, you start to miss it, and then you just want to get back in there. Like you can never give it away. So yeah, and it's a hard one. I think he's in a bit of a hard space. Um, but yeah, I'm not really sure where he's.
Yeah.
ways to go from where he is now. I guess maybe just try and take some easier fights and rebuild himself, or just be that gatekeeper to get into the like top fighters.
Mm. Do you think he'll want to be a gatekeeper? Because that's a difficult position once
I
you've
got
been a
no
world
idea.
champ,
Eh?
isn't it?
Yeah, like I'd say you would want to, be more than just that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't really say.
Final bit need to speak to you about is the rematch, of course, between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. Fury
Yeah.
said that he wants to keep a lot the same going into that, the approach, the team. Is that a mistake, do you think, against Usyk?
No, look, they're both top tier fighters. I think it's just gonna be another chess match again, filling each other out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see Fury being able to overcome Usyk. Like Usyk's he's just a freak. He's just a freak, and he's a very good mover. Um, very good at getting his punches off and getting away without being touched. So yeah, it's a hard one to call, but yeah, both very very good fighters. But yeah,
What
I'm gonna have to back Usyk again.
what was your prediction for the first fight, and has your opinion
I was
of either fighter changed?
no, I was backing Usyk. Just entirely off like his movement, his punch selection. Um, he throws a lot of punches, and he's just got that presence in front of him. Like he's always on the front foot, but like he can easily take a step back and be out of range whenever he wants. So yeah, I just love his presence when he's in the ring.
Really good stuff. Really appreciate the time. Just best of luck
No
for the
worries.
return in a few weeks, and yeah,
Thank
hope to see
you.
those big fights in 2025.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you, man.